Shalom Israel, Shalom, Shalom, brother Nakwam, watchman for Israel, coming back at you with these precepts and another cold cut, giving, of course, all honor and glory to Yahweh, by Shema Mashiach, Malak Yahushai, double honors to the elect elders of the house of David that's been in this truth for decades and decades, patiently waiting for the second coming of Yahushai. The hearty Shalom to you mighty men that go out there and labor and do the work of the Most High, presenting your body as a living sacrifice, enduring all things for the elect's sake, pushing this truth and magnifying the ministry. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the men that may not be out there in the highways and byways as of yet, but they're working on it. They're getting built up in the spirit. They're praying, they're fasting, they're studying, they're being diligent and abounding in the work of the Lord. Shalom to all of the Aquath out there, the sincere sisters out there, holding it down in the households, reverencing their husbands, being submissive, being diligent, and moving in the spirit of our righteous foremothers, Rebecca, Rachel, Esther, Leah, Judith, Martha, Mary, and all of our righteous foremothers who are back on the earth in these last days. Shalom to everybody tuning in live. Kyoko Banyamyan, Judah Mania, Amaziah, Yahawada, Yet Blessed, Blade Bright, Ban Yawasap, House of Manessa, and everybody else tuning in and that will tune in. This WFI late night, we pushing 1 in the morning, Shabbat Shalom, right to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. WFI late nights, man. We in this thing, current events, right? Current events and end times, right? Current events and the end times. Let's go to Psalms chapter 102, right? Let's bring this out again, right? Let's go to Psalms chapter 102. Actually, let's go to Proverbs 8, right? Let's go to Proverbs chapter 8. And let's kick it off, right? This Proverbs, the 8th chapter, and I will start at 34. Blessed is the man that heareth me, watching daily at my gates, waiting at the post of my doors. So wisdom says the man is blessed if he's watching daily, right? And you have to be watching daily. There shouldn't be a day that goes by when you're not keeping up to date with the current events that's going on, right? You should be always up to date. You might even have the apps on your phone or alerts on your phone, get the notifications, damn ringtone. You got the tabs pulled up. You should be watching daily, trying to see what's the next big prophecy happening, man. What's happening out there in Afghanistan? What's happening over there pertaining to the poison? What's happening pertaining to the Hebrew Israelites? What's happening over there pertaining to judgment? You have to keep watching, man. You have to keep watching. And we have to go into these current events to keep you up to date, man. Right? And we always encourage brothers to stay on top of these things, man. Right? It says, let me read again, Proverbs 8 and 34. Blessed is the man that heareth me, watching daily at my gates, meaning waiting for wisdom to come in so you can talk to wisdom, waiting for the prophecies to come to pass so you can go out there and warn the people, right? It reads, but it's like you waiting at the post of my door. So you want to wait at the post of the doors of wisdom, man. And you living in these exciting times. These times that you living in are probably, if not the most eye-opening, skin-crawling, your damn hair standing up, you on the edge of your seat, and you waiting for the next big thing to happen, man. There are major events happening globally around the earth, and if you're not watching, then it's going to slap you in the back of the head. You're going to be caught out there, man. You don't want to be caught out there not knowing what's going on. You have to be into the spirit of watching the prophecies. Stand on top of the news. Stand on top of the alternative news. Stand on top of the local news. Stand on top on geopolitics, diplomatic affairs, world leaders, linking it up in the Bible and seeing what the Most High has in store for the inhabitants of the earth. Right now, let's go to Psalms chapter 102. Right? Psalms chapter 102 and verse 6. It reads, I am like a pelican of the wilderness. I am like an owl of the desert. Right? I watch and am as a sparrow alone upon a housetop. And we're watching, man. We have that view the Most High gave us where we're not only able to see these current events in real time, but we're also, through the gift of the Most High, able to correlate it with the Bible. So your news reporter, he's not going to go and show you, well, this is breaking news and so and so and so and so. Give me the book of John. They're not going to go into the precepts. And that's what separates the world from this truth. We're able to watch through the inspiration of Yahweh Shai, but also tie it in and correlate it with the scriptures. And there's a lot going on, man. Right now, one of the first things, right, there's a lot going on, right? Bear with me. Now, well, I wanted to show this. Well, I'll hold on to that. See, I'm kind of getting excited. I'm getting excited, right? Bear with me. Where are we at? All right, let's show this on the screen. See, I'm getting excited, man, right? There's so much that we have to show, and there's so much to get into, man. And time, and I might not even have time to go into everything how I want to go into it, man, right? Now check this out. U.S. carries out airstrike against Islamic State in Afghanistan, right? Because if you didn't know, they just bombed and killed a few soldiers, man, right? Check this out. This updated 4 minutes ago, right? We're giving you the news from 4 minutes ago through the Spirit, right? Let me pull this up, and then I'll go back to what I wanted to get into about the U.S. striking back. But for those who didn't know, right, from the AP News, right? That's a credible source. Kabul airport attacked 60 Afghans and 13 U.S. troops. Look at this, right? 60 Afghans and 13 U.S. troops, right? Now, they also were coming out. They would come out, bear with me. They were even coming out and saying that there may be signs of treason because you had intel from these Americans who told these people of the Taliban, and these people, it's like a little madness. Can't do nothing. He always wants you to pay for something. Damn, you can't have nothing, man. You know? But damn, there's even intel saying that these Americans gave them intelligence to show them particular scenes and to get them to be able to get that bomb going and be able to kill people. They're saying Americans gave people names up, gave locations up. So they're saying the treason may be very well involved in this thing. So this says wounded Afghans lie on a bed. This is the caption of this for this photo. Wounded Afghans lie on a bed at a hospital after a deadly explosion outside the airport in Kabul, Afghanistan, Thursday, August 26. Two suicide bombers, gunmen, attacked crowds of Afghans flocking to the airport Thursday, transforming a scene of desperation into one of horror and the waning days of an airlift for those fleeing the Taliban takeover. And I kind of went into that, man. You had them people jumping out of airplanes, you know, people killing themselves, anything but to have to them so-called Ishmaelites take over. Right, let me go to Genesis chapter 16. Right, let's go to Genesis chapter 16. So these are the days you're living in, man. And then the United States, they just responded with an airstrike. So we're going to wait to see who's going to bounce back. They kind of going back and forth now. Things are getting heated, man. They're getting heated. Right, let's go to Genesis chapter 16. Right, and we're going to get into this thing, man. This Genesis chapter 16. And verse 11, right? This is the blessing for Ishmael. Genesis chapter 16 and 11. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Behold, thou art with child, and shall bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael, because the Lord hath heard thy affliction, and he will be a wild man. His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him. And he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. And we know he's a wild man. It just says suicide bombers, blowing himself up, right? Now, we're very well hip to what's going on, but I'll just read the first two paragraphs, right, about what's going on. All hell is breaking loose out there in the Middle East, man, right? Two suicide bombers and gunmen attacked crowds of Afghans flocking to Kabul's airport Thursday, transforming a scene of desperation into one of horror and the waning days of an airlift for those fleeing the Taliban takeover. The attacks killed at least 60 Afghans and 13 U.S. troops, Afghan and U.S. officials said. The U.S. general overseeing the evacuation said the attacks would not stop the United States from evacuating Americans and others, and flights out were continuing. General Frank McKenzie, head of U.S. Central Command, said there was a large amount of security at the airport and alternate routes were being used to get evacuees in. About 5,000 people were awaiting flights on the airfield, McKenzie said. The blast came hours after Western officials warned of a major attack, urging people to leave the airport. But that advice went largely unheeded by Afghans desperate to escape the country, and the last few days of an American-led evacuation for the U.S. officially ends its 20-year presence on August 31st. Now check this out. Right now we know that happened, but what also happened? Right? Yeah, they bombed and killed a few U.S. troops, but the United States bounced back. U.S. carries out airstrike, right? They carried out an airstrike. Now I want to see if I can kind of how much they want me to be able to go into this, if I got to pay for this or not. Now it says the United States carries out airstrike against Islamic State in Afghanistan. Pentagon says, now this is from 11:30, this is from a few hours ago, right? Pentagon says extremist target likely killed. Now we don't know if that's true or not, and we know that Babylon the Great, they actually funded a lot of these people in Afghanistan and gave them millions, if not billions of dollars worth of weapons, ammunition, magazines, and all types of firearm and firepower, right? It says action follows suicide bombing outside of Kabul airport. It says the U.S. military said it conducted an airstrike against Islamic State in Afghanistan on Saturday, like killing an extremist leader described as a planner for the organization. The strike was its first known U.S. response to Thursday's suicide bomb attack outside the airport of Kabul that killed 13 American troops and nearly 200 Afghan civilians, right? And we're waiting to see how this thing unfolds, man, right? Now, they could bounce back too. They could drop a bomb. Then America could drop a bomb. Then other countries can get involved. Then they may take the battle to Armageddon. Then it may push it down to the Valley of Jehoshaphat, man. So you're living in the stages of wars and rumors of wars, right? Let's get that classic in Matthew chapter 24, right? These are all the wars and rumors of wars, right? You're living in Bible prophecy, right? Matthew chapter 24 and verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and the rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So the end isn't yet, man. You're not completely out of here. We're still waiting for this thing to expand. Hopefully this thing expands, and hopefully this thing blows out of control. Hopefully a nuke is dropped in the near future. Hopefully other countries get involved. Hopefully, they retaliate and America retaliates more. And we want to see this thing go down. We don't want to see a peace treaty. We don't want to see things kind of go back to normal, right? I don't want things to go back to normal. I want things to continue. I want this fire to stay blazing, man. So you see that U.S. carries out airstrike against Islamic State, right? Let's get another precept on that, man. Right? Let's go to 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, right? The brother said the Most High stirring up the king's hearts, man. Right? And he may keep doing these attacks to kind of win the people over, because a lot of people are against Biden right now. A lot of people saying he's senile, he's incompetent, he's not able to hold office, he's not articulate like he used to be. And you watch this guy in these videos, he sounds delusional. He can't finish a sentence. He can't have a coherent conversation. He has no idea what's going on. And he's supposed to be the top guy of the earth right now. So this is madness. So a lot of people are talking to getting this guy out of here too, man. But let's go to 2nd Ezra, chapter 16. Right? I want to get 2nd Ezra, chapter 16 and 34. It reads, and the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. So the Lord said you have wars coming on the earth, not just one war. Well, you admit you're going to have battles, but the final war is World War III. But in these upcoming wars, a lot of men are going to die. A lot of men are going to get drafted. And now if you're in the military, you even got to take the poison. Women they're going to get drafted. And just when he thought he would pull them people out, and the Most High kind of got him going back in there. Right? And the Lord said in Joel chapter 2, right? Let's go to Joel, the 2nd chapter. Right? They want to pull these people out of Afghanistan. Right? Let's see if we can get this. Right? But what did the Lord say? Let's go to the book of Joel, the 2nd chapter. Right? I want to pull this map up first so I can tie it in. Right? With Joel chapter 2. Right? So they're not leaving. The Lord is going to have them there. Why? Because you have angels in that region, man. Right? So like you bear with me. See, I'm going to have to get another map. This is kind of blurry. All right, this is a little bit better. All right, this is better. So you see, this is your so-called Middle East. Right? You got Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran, Pakistan, Uzbekistan, but here's the Afghanistan. And here's Kabul right here, right? Where the cursor is, if you can see it, that's Kabul, right? So this is where they're at. Now they have soldiers here, but Armageddon really is going to take place past the Euphrates River. It's going to take place in this region right here. So the Lord is drying up the river as we speak, right? This is the Euphrates River. It's being dried up, right? You have the Tigris right here, and you have the Euphrates. So the Euphrates rivers is drying up that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. And Afghanistan is one of the kings of the east, right? The Taliban and all those different guys. Eventually, this is going to lead. This battle is going to go from airports being bombed to eventually they're going to be in this region. And that's how certain wars are. Certain wars are fought, or certain battles are fought in one portion of the earth. And with the technology we have, it's going to end in this region right here, right? But I want to get that out the Bible. I want to go to Joel chapter 2, and I want to read verse. Let's see where I want to start. Just Joel chapter 2 and 20. But I will remove far off from you the northern army. Now, the northern army is the army of the north, right? Which is what? The land of the north, which is Babylon the Great. So the Lord's going to take all of the military here in Babylon the Great that we got to deal with, remove them from us. It reads, and will drive him into a land barren and desolate. Now, this is the land barren and desolate, the so-called Middle East, right? Really is going into this region over here where the Valley of Jehoshaphat is going to be. But the Lord is going to drive them to a land barren and desolate. That's where you have the troops over here. The Lord removed the northern army, took them out the borders, and drove them into a land barren with no vegetation, no living water, right? No actual waterfalls and of abundance, pretty much a desert land, right? It reads, and will drive them into a land barren and desolate with this face toward the East Sea, right? And we know that's going into the Dead Sea. And his hinder part, meaning that the portion of his army, toward the utmost sea. Here's the utmost sea, the Mediterranean. So what it's saying is this devil's going to be in this region prior to Yahushua returning, right? He's already in Afghanistan. He's in Iran. He's in Iraq, right? And his stink is going to come up, right? His back is going to be toward the utmost sea, which is the Mediterranean, and his face toward the East Sea. So he's in Afghanistan right now, right? It reads, and his hinder part toward the utmost sea, and his stink shall come up and his ill savor shall come up because he had done great things, meaning he has went the hell off. So the Most High has to destroy him, right? Now they did say that they responded, and we're waiting to see how they're going to retaliate. And a lot of these wars really are funded by the Illuminati to win money, to win people's funds, so people can invest in these corporations that they own to buy bullets, ammunition, firearms, oil, you understand, engines, all these things that are mass produced are owned by the elites. So they tend to start war and pay people. They'll give people who don't like the government and a foreign nation, they'll pay them off and give them billions of dollars and millions of dollars worth of ammunition. But those people are beginning to overthrow the same people who gave them that money. And that's that devil falling into his own snare, right? Let me get that in the book of Job. So this devil, he's fallen into his own snare. He thought that he would overthrow a government through proxy warfare, but the same people he wanted to overthrow are now overthrowing him, right? So I want to get this precept real quick. This is the book of Job, chapter 18 and verse 9. I'll start at 8. Job chapter 18 and 8. For he is cast into a net by his own feet and walketh upon a snare. So this devil, he didn't set traps, and he fell into the own traps that he set up. The jinn shall take him by the heel, and the robber shall prevail against him. The snare is laid for him in the ground, and a trap for him in the way. Terrors. That's what they call them, terrorists. Terrors shall make him afraid on every side. Because now they're saying that they might, a lot of them people that came over here, they might bomb Babylon the Great. They're saying the next big terrorist attack on American soil may in fact come from people of the Islamic State. That's why it says, terror shall make him afraid on every side, and shall drive him to his feet. His strength shall be hunger bitten, and destruction shall be ready at his side. Right? So that's the first thing I want to get into. Right? World War III happening. Right? World War III is on the horizon. Now, here's another thing. There's a lot going on, man. Right? To link in with World War III. Why is China building 250 nuclear missiles that can hit America? And all these nations are stocking up on missiles. Even if I'm not mistaken, that was Iran. Iran have they have Missile City, man. Right? Right? If you never seen, right? So like very Missile City of nuclear exposed at their to. Right? So like that. So like yeah. All right, you see that? We brought that out before. Look at this. Iran releases video of Revolutionary Guards Missile City base. So Iran is stocking up on missiles. Why is China building 250 nuclear missiles that can hit America? This is Bible prophecy. Right? We're going to go into that. Right? It says, bear with me. Just when you think you're starting to get over the latest shocking news involving the People's Republic of China's unprecedented buildup, you get zapped with another hair-raising jolt of reporting. Indeed, after recent stories on 2 new Chinese intercontinental ballistic missile silo sites this summer, last week, a third new undeclared Chinese ICBM field was revealed to the public courtesy of U.S. Air Force researchers. Now, China is believed to be building another new ICBM site, right? This time in Inner Mongolia, based on images taken by European Space Agency satellites between May and August, according to the U.S. Air Force's China Aerospace Studies Institute. The newly discovered ICBM field is expected to add a minimum of 30 to 36 new silos to the People's Liberation Army Rocket Force's land-based missile arsenal, on top of some 200 missile silos unveiled by other analysis earlier this summer. Now, these silos are found in the Bible, right? Let's go to Psalms chapter 7. What a silo is pretty much the boat. And the missiles are the arrows. And the Lord actually calls the missiles the arrows of the Lord. Right? Let's go to Psalms chapter 7 and let's read verse 12. Right? Psalms chapter 7 and 12. If he turn not, he will whet his sword. He hath bent his bow and made it ready. Right? So the Lord hath bended the bow. When you watch a missile launch off, it's shaped really like an arrow. It's a modern day arrow. But instead of an actual bow that an archer is pulling, the launch pad and that silo where the missiles being shot up from, that's your modern day bow. So yes, you can read about the nuclear missile silos in the Bible. The Lord is bending a bow and hath made it ready. Psalm 7 and 13. He hath also prepared for him the instruments of death. What is the instrument of death? That's the ICBM missile, man. He ordaineth his arrows against the persecutors. See, that's so the instruments of death are the arrows that have been created to go against the persecutors, right? And that's what you call the arrows of the Lord, right? The arrows of the Lord in the Bible. Sometimes the arrows they're referred to as lightning from the chariots or concentrated fire. But in this prophecy, these 200, going back to the title, these 200 nuclear missiles are really the arrows, right? This Psalms chapter 58 and verse 7, right? Psalms chapter 58 and 7. Let them melt away as waters which run continually. When he bendeth his bow to shoot his arrows, meaning they pressing that launch pad button. And not everybody has those nuclear codes. Only a particular amount of men, the Most High gave those nuclear codes. Yeah, the Most High gave them the nuclear codes, not man, right? You may say, well, the government did it. No, the Most High gave a particular amount of men a certain codes and is going to put in their mind when to press that button. That's why it says, when he bendeth his bow to shoot his arrows, let them be as cut in pieces, right? So you have these different arrows of the Lord. You have 250 missiles that can hit America. And let me say this. They've been doing a lot more talking than they've ever been doing, man. China's doing a lot of talking, right? At one point in time, China used to be kind of quiet. They really didn't come out on the forefront and say what they were going to do, who they were going to defeat. Now they really don't give a damn, right? And that's why you have, let me get this in China. Might have been, check this out. Complete success. Russia, China hold military exercise. What are you holding the military exercise for if you're not getting ready for war? Right? So you have China and Russia getting ready, man, for military exercise. So let's play this. Got the locust out. And they're not doing this just because they're bored. Let me put that out there. A lot of brothers, when they might be bored, they might not have nothing to do. Let's go to Joel, the 3rd chapter. Right? They're doing this because the Most High put it in their spirit to do it. And that's how you know World War III is on the horizon. They're doing military drills. Boxers don't train to beat the air like the scriptures say. They're not in the gym doing all types of cardio and doing the thing and they duck and they got to hit the pads. They're not training for no reason. They're training to fight somebody. Boxers do that. Athletes, people work out in a particular field of sport to be able to overcome the opposing team or person physically, or rather that's a team effort. So you can't expect actual countries, China and Russia, to be doing military drills just for the hell of it. No, they're doing these drills so they can destroy America and fulfill Bible prophecy. Right? Let's get that in Joel, the 3rd chapter. Right? Let's go to Joel chapter 3. Right? And we're going to read verse 9. right? This is Joel chapter 3 and 9. It reads, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. So the Lord said, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Meaning your normal lifestyle is going to change. Life as you know it is going to come to a complete halt. Right? All of that working in a workplace and you're a farmer or you work a 9 to 5 or you don't like to get your hands dirty and guns don't kill people, people kill people. All of that, you're going to be in the Middle East, man, getting ready for war. That's why the Lord said, beat your plowshares and pruning hooks, which are agricultural tools. The Lord said, you're going to turn that into actual weapons. And he said, let the weak say, I am strong. So a lot of these countries who were once, like we always bring out, inferior third world countries, they're not westernized, they're not civilized according to the American lifestyle, then guess what? They're going to get ready for war. See that? Yeah. See that? They got the helicopters out there. They got the tanks out there. Look at that. Look, they practicing putting troops on the ground. These are the locusts you read about in Revelation chapter 9, right? These are the locusts. They practicing damn paratroopers or whatever ground combat. That's why it's important that the Lord dry up that river Euphrates so they can drop these soldiers down in that region and get ready for World War III. But if that river is flourishing, it's going to kind of hinder the battle formation that the Most High want to set up. So the Most High has to alter the battlefield like a programmer and move things around. See that? Like I said, you can watch the rest of it on your own. You can see China get involved, but here's the point, right? Complete success. Russia and China hold joint military exercise. Now, there's also, right, Salaki, bear with me. There was also a simulation done with Russia and China. Check this out. Listen to this. So Russia and China are doing military drills, and I know America, they're scared to death. Like we read in Job, it said in Job, let me read that again, Job 18. And these devils, they're done, man. Not only do they fear internally the Israelites from within, from without, they fear these other nations. Right? I'm going to read that again, Job 18 and 11. Terror shall make him afraid on every side and shall drive him to his feet. Right? This Job chapter 20 and 24. He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. So the iron weapon and the bow of steel are the missiles. And check this out. This from July 2021. U.S. military changing strategy after. Hey, no matter what you do, they can change the strategy. They can replace who's the general. They can try to get all of the weapons. But it says U.S. military changing strategy after losing simulated war with China. They knew exactly what we're going to do before we did it. That's what the U.S. said. And you see what's happening. They're literally doing joint drills because you put out these reports and they know they're going to defeat you. Everybody knows that, especially if these Moabites have Russia in their corner. Right? It says, bear with me. A Jew has reunited its military miserably and war game a major fight strategy. The United States' readiness for armed conflict was put to the test in an exercise last October, which ended up uncovering serious weaknesses in the warfighting strategy, reports Business Insider. That's what we read in Job 20 and 24. He shall flee from the iron weapon. Because the iron weapon, again, is the missiles. You know, even in Revelation 9, it gives you the different external, how do we break it down? The plating for the missiles. I can't think of the technical term, but even in Revelation 9, the iron weapon is being described further in detail about the different metals that are put in it, right? So U.S. military changing strategy after losing simulated war with China. And that's why it says, why is China building 250 missiles? Because they know they can defeat America. And I think everybody knows that now. Everybody's well aware that America isn't the power that they used to be. Their leaders aren't who they used to be. The mind of the people have waxed and worsened worse. And these other countries, look at the bow. This literally is like a bow and arrow. These other countries are here to take them out. See this, the bow is being shot from, and you can see the missile being the arrow being ejected out. Right? Now, we also have this. Right, I'm kind of moving time. Right, but check this. This one, Christian Daily. Right, this would be maybe a quick cold cut, current events. Right, just to keep you up to date. CCP. It reads: CCP paying Chinese citizens to spy and snitch on Christians. So they're all the way in. Right, they're all the way in this thing. And this is going to lead to the famine of the word. Now, this may come to America. They may say, hey, look, any black Hebrew Israelite, if you see him, and we'll pay you to deliver them up, dead or alive. And we'll pay you to rat them out. Show us where they live at. Show us where their family's at. And the Lord said in Matthew chapter 10, let's get this precept. Right? And you know, a lot of people going to get jammed up in China, man. These Moabites really don't play. They're literally paying the Chinese people, their own citizens, to snitch. And I'm led to believe it's going to come to America, right? I have no doubt in my mind. This St. Matthew chapter 10 and 17. But beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues, right? So men are going to get delivered up, and it's always going to start. A lot of these prophecies that are happening in America and that will happen in America, to the day of the Lord always has it happen in other countries first. Like we're going to the seditions, the uprising. All that happens in other countries first, but you know eventually it's going to come to the shores of America. They're paying people to snitch. It didn't say Muslims. It didn't say Hindus. It didn't say Buddha. And Buddhism is heavy in China. You know? It said Christians. Now check this out. China's authorities and a Heilong Jiang, right, province are cracking down on Christians by ordering its citizens to spy on them. What does this mean? How far are there limitations on this? Is there too far? Is there a line that they can cross and they can't cross? What is spy on them? Can they just kind of peek through the window, or can they break in your house and put cameras in? Can they, whatever. But what does that mean? Spy on them. How? Take pictures, a massive camera. You can stalk somebody, spying on them. So this is off, man. And report, quote unquote, illegal religious activities. What the hell is a legal religious activity? You know, such as preaching. And this is coming to America, right? We're led to believe that preaching will become an illegal religious activity, right? Let me get a precept on that. Look at this madness. Preaching is going to become an illegal religious activity. Let's go to Acts chapter 24. These are the days you're living in, right? These are the days you're living in. preaching in China is an illegal. And I want to know what the punishment is, right? Do you get prison time if you're caught preaching? Do you get a slap on the wrist? Do they fine you heavily? Do you have to do community service? Right? You know, we want to go into the details of what this is, man. Now, a brother told me in Europe that he's in London. He told me that there's a lot of brothers in the truth in China. Because he actually has a biological brother who went to China. He said, I can't believe it. It's a lot of Issachar out here. Or it's a lot of brothers out there. So we don't know what's going to happen to these guys, right? But we pray that the Most High is with them. So let's go to Acts chapter 24. Let's get a precept. Right? This Acts chapter 24 and verse 5. For we have found this man a pestilent fellow and a mover of sedition among all the Jews throughout the world, and a ringleader of the sect of the Nazarenes. So Paul was charged with sedition, right? Because the way we preach, they'll say it's sedition and we're enticing people to rebel against the American government. You know, it reads, so let me read this again. To report any illegal activity such as preaching and religious house gatherings, meaning you can't have a congregation. A religious house gathering, they can say that's just a house, or they can say, look, it's a building, right? Rather you got a camp, you got a school there, they're going to shut that down. Those who provide tips to the authorities will be rewarded $150. Authorities in Marlisai Dor district in the city of Quahar, right, have released a guideline titled the Reward System for Reporting Illegal Religious Activity Offenses, which said informants. People are going to try to be an informant. Informants, we paid up to 1,000 won, or if I'm pronouncing that right, or $150. Right? This is madness, man. This is madness. And they got it all figured out in China. So, and like I said, we're led to believe it's going to come to America, you know? And you can read more on this on your own. Like I said, for sake of time, I'm not able to really go into it, but this is something else, right? The Chinese are paying people to snitch on their respective citizens, right? Now, there's another thing I wanted to show you, right? See if I still have this, right? Bear with me. Now, Salakia, I want to show you this. Now, if you listen carefully to what this man Biden said, right? Now, listen to what this man said. And I could be wrong. I could be wrong. You know, I may be getting old and my ears aren't what they used to be. But listen to what this man said concerning people getting the poison. Right? It seemed like he said Israelite. Now I could be wrong. He could have been saying, you know, his mind ain't right. So he couldn't, we don't know. But listen to this. Seemed like he kind of slipped up, but he kind of caught himself. Right? He might be reading from the teleprompter, but he probably was in a spirit where he kind of said Israelite, but he had to get back with a teleprompter. Right? We don't know, but listen to what this man said.
For those who carried out this attack,
oh, that's not what I
wishes America.
Wait, that's not what I want. It's here it is. Bear with me.
The best way to protect ourselves from new variants that could arise. Plan is for every adult.
Hold on, you see that? Listen to what he said. Right?
The best way to protect ourselves from new variants that could arise. Plan is for every adult.
Now, to me, it sounded like he said the plan is for every Israelite, right? Seemed like he said that to me. He said, you know, our future plan is for every Israelite, but then he kind of caught himself and reminded himself he's not in some secret, illuministic, occultic, Masonic devil room where they use the word Israel like we use the word Israel, right? Now, let's see it again.
The best way to protect ourselves from new variants that could arise. Plan is for every adult.
See that? Every Israel, every adult. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 21 and 1. Right? Proverbs 21. Like I said, I could be wrong. It can be an evil suspicion. It can overthrow my judgment. But that's what it sounded like to me. It sounded like he wanted to say every Israelite needs to get that poison inside of them. They know about the videos. They know that you're watching the videos. They know who's the main people bucking up against it. They know who's the main people bringing out all the information. They're into that. Right? Now, I wanted to get Proverbs 21. Right? This Proverbs chapter 21 and 1. The king's heart, meaning the king's mind, right, is in the hand of the Lord, as the rivers of water. He turneth it whithersoever he will. Every way of a man is right in his own eyes, but the Lord pondereth the hearts. So the Lord is going to have everything go where he wants them to go. The Most High kind of had him say that. Right? See that? Like the soldier Azaniah said, right? The brother said the is part didn't even belong in that sentence. That man said Israelite. Right? Now, like I said, that's what I heard. You can say, well, look, he didn't say that. I mean, well, what the hell was he saying? If he wasn't saying Israelite, what could he have been saying? Listen to it. He said, let's play it again.
The best way to protect ourselves from new variants that could arise. Plan is for every adult.
Now, they might kill this guy. They might say, hey, look, you're out of here, man. Because you're not upholding the New World Order. You're not able to function. The elites probably get on that man. And he's probably scared for his life because we know deep down inside he's not really running much. So the elites, they probably getting on him because the elites are, they know what's going on, man. Right? Let's go to Psalms 64 and verse 6. Right? This Psalms chapter 64 and 6. They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them is deep. Slakia. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. So these elites, they're thinking, man. They've already had plans for every Israelite to receive the poison. They already have divided up into different color codes. You got the people who got the yellow sticker, the red, the green sticker, people that they have to be trained all over again. You have the people that are going to comply, and you got the dissidents and the people who are going to buck up against it. So they already know, look, we got to get the Israelites. Why do you think they've always came out and said the people that are predominantly spreading the poison and the disease are the blacks and Hispanics and Native Americans? I remember when the pestilence first reached out, man. They said the main people that were spreading it and getting it were the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. They've always said that. But now they're getting a lot more bold, right? They're getting a lot more bold. Now listen to this.
The best way to protect ourselves from new variants.
Now, like I said, I may get the whole video, watch it again just to see what maybe he was talking about. But, it seems as though it's plain upon tables.
The best way to protect ourselves from new variants that could arise. Plan is for every adult.
Yeah, I don't know what else he could have said. I don't know what else you could insert for adult. What else could you say? Now, it could have been a typo on a teleprompter. They could have kind of came out and said something different. Hey, we don't know. But we're going to take that for what it is. Let's go to Sirach chapter 12 and 10. Right? We're going to have to take that for what it is, man. Right? This Ecclesiasticus chapter 12 and 10. These devils, they're going to show their horns. Right? There's nothing hid that should not be revealed. Right? This Sirach chapter 12 and 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. And that's why we don't trust this place, man. Because they always slip up. A brother asked in a previous cold cut about a double tongue. That's the definition of a double tongue. He'll come out and say every adult. He said every Israelite. Now, if the Most High would have allowed him to say the word Israel, all hell would have broke loose. I mean, in this age, you can't really hide. Everything's recorded. People sell information. People, they record things. If he would have said the word Israelite, man, it would have been an uproar. Not only in Israel, but all hell would have broke loose. He might have died. They might have said, you're slipping up too much, right? You're not upholding the American way. And they might have took that guy out if he would have said that. Biden would have been in the spirit world. He would have been 6 feet under the ground by some spontaneous heart attack or stroke. And they might kill that guy and say he had a stroke because his mind ain't right. His mind not right. Now, it also says, Slocky, bear with me. Right, but I want to get into that. Right, here's another thing I want to get into. I'm trying to get into all these current events in the time that I have. Right now, Australia, it says truckers vow to shut down all major highways and massive anti-pestilence protests. We've always talked about the significant role that truck drivers have for the consumer, right? And to go out and buy this meat and groceries from the stores, the truck drivers are responsible, right? The truck drivers, they ship it in there, receiving guys, they receive it in, people in the back, they push it out to the sales floor and they mark it and they tag it and they price it. That's how things work. Now, if these people are shutting down major highways and these are your truck drivers, this may lead to a famine. Now, it's not telling you what company these truck drivers work for and what they ship out, but they're not wanting to comply. A lot of people aren't complying. Check this out. A group of truck drivers furious about public health restrictions amid the pandemic have vowed to protest by shutting down all major highways in Australia. Imagine that. These American truck drivers, they shut down every major highway. Whether this is a government inside job or whether they're actually doing this to prevent from fleeing. Hence to protest mandates and other restrictions by locking highways in and out of every Australian state on Tuesday, August 31st. So we're looking to see how they handle that. Well, first detailed in a viral video featuring a man who identified himself as a truck driver on Monday. The man urged Australians to stock up on groceries. See that? Because if they block down all these roads, it's going to lead to a famine. It's going to end up bad, right? And other supplies before the protest disrupts the supply chain. Several other truckers have since made their own videos pledging to take part in the effort to shut down the country. See, they want to shut it down, man. Right? Bear with me. I want to see if I can find. Look at this. So I can bear with me 1 second. I'm gonna play this.
State borders has largely been fought by businesses, but unlikely allies are appearing online.
We run this country. We the people. And I'm a truck driver.
Disgruntled truck drivers.
You heard that? I told you, them truck drivers getting proud. They say we run this country, right? We run this country, meaning the only reason you got food, you got milk, bread, eggs, water, it's the truck drivers. They're beginning to know, and they have already known the influence they have on the supply chain and on the food coming in and out. All of that links in. So, hey, a lot of them, they're gonna shut down and say, hey, look, we're not driving and dropping food off in your local Myers, Walmart, Kroger, Safeway, Publix, whatever you got, man. They're not going to be able to do that. So listen to what that guy said.
The battle to open state borders has largely been fought by businesses, but unlikely allies are appearing online.
We run this country. We the people. And I'm a truck driver.
Disgruntled truck drivers are fed up with pandemic protocols taken to social media, threatening to protest and cut off critical supplies.
Block the highway, man. Park her up.
See how good Queensland goes with no freight going in and out. Blockades being planned for next week. Some social media material targeting others, including bikies and police, as part of a broader strike event. If anybody tries to run the blockade, God help them. There were some lineups at truck checkpoints today, though not all drivers believe the blockade will eventuate.
It's not going to solve anything. I don't reckon it'll anyone. Yeah, it's not right.
The Transport Workers Union isn't involved in the planned blockade, but is aware of it.
All right, so we want to see how that thing plays out. And that's coming to America, right? We know that's coming to America, man. I mean, these guys, the Lord said in the book of, let me get this real quick, in 2 Ezra 6, right? And the Lord said, a nation divided against itself shall not stand, right? This 2 Ezra chapter 6 and 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. So these department stores, processing plants, fulfillment centers, whatever the case may be, warehouses who hold the food, the Lord said their full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. Right? So let's move on to the next thing. Right? Pfizer receives the approval, right? I want to try to get all these in. It is madness. FDA grants full approval of Pfizer BioNTech poison, opening door to more poison mandates. And I've seen a brother who said his job said, I believe it was on paper, they said, we don't care about your religion. You're going to take this or you're going to get fired. So now that they're beginning to get hip of these poison exemptions, they're beginning to get hip of all types of fake so-called pestilence cards. And now they're saying, well, look, it's been approved. So don't be surprised if your job is going to make you try to get that or not. And you're going to have to make that decision. Do I want to keep my job or do I want to get that poison? And we're all going to have to make that decision, man. The Lord said in Sirach chapter 15, right, verse 17, I'll start at 17. Before man is life and death, and whether he like it shall be given him. So you got life and death, man. Right? Eventually, this thing is going to take over. You're not going to be able to go to the gas station. You're not going to be able to do A, B, and C. Right? You're going to be shut off from the American world. And a lot of people aren't going to be able to handle that. So you may have mandatory more door-to-door poison going on, man, than ever before. You know? Right? Here's another thing. Grocery prices skyrocket 31% as lockdowns, drought, and money printing unleash food inflation. Right? You can go to more of that on your own. Groceries are expensive, man. Stuff is costing more and more, and people aren't going to be able to afford that. That eviction moratorium is going to expire. People are going to be homeless in the streets, and they're not going to be able to afford the food in the grocery store. And the food in the grocery store is not even going to be there because the truckers aren't coming in, which is a natural. Those are ingredients for disaster, right? That's the recipe for disaster. That's what I wanted to say, right? But those are a few current events. You got a lot of prophecies coming to pass, right? And I wanted to do more, but for sake of time, you know, I do got to get up early so we can do the Sabbath service. Like the brother said, you got panic buyers. Look at this. A jug of orange juice at Publix is $20. $20. That's madness, man. Madness. Right? Madness, man. $20. The Lord said, let's go to Isaiah 19. We've been in these same chapters and same verses, right? First, let me get this real quick, right? And Jeremiah, right? Bear with me. I believe it's 50 and 31. It's like it is Jeremiah 51 and 9. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go every one into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. So you can't heal Babylon. The Lord said we would have healed Babylon, but we can't. The damn gas prices are increasing. Groceries are increasing. People are going to be evicted. Truck drivers don't give a damn. World War III is on the rise. Famines and persecutions, pestilence. You're looking at all of the major prophecies coming to pass. So you got to repent and be on fire, man. You got to be studying more, reading more, praying more, being more diligent, because all hell can break loose just like that. But with that, I'm going to close up, giving, of course, our honor and glory to Yahweh. Bashima Mashiach Malak Yahushai. Quick current events. Most High willing you was edified. Kwam Yasha. Shalom.